Hello everyone, welcome to It's Crochet O'Clock. My name is Stephanie and today we are going to be talking about a video that I created about 2 months ago on content theft in the crochet world. I got a lot of questions about this video, so many that I felt like I needed to record another video about it because there were just a lot of questions, a lot of people asking the same question, and some other issues have come up or have come to my attention. Things have happened and I would like to address them for you. But before I get into any of that, this topic isn't a popular one. Why, Stephanie? Because people in our niche, they don't like to rock the boat. They don't want to talk about things like the dark side of crochet. Oh, sure. They'll whisper about it privately in IMs or in hidden Facebook groups. Yes, they exist. But they don't want to speak about it publicly. They won't share videos or blog posts about topics like this one. They don't want to help spread awareness about the issue. They don't want drama, and they don't want you to speak about this in their groups on social media because then you're deemed as argumentative when you're just trying to state facts. They simply want to dance around in their little gardens with their rose-colored glasses on and ignore the entire situation in hopes that it'll just go away. Everyone wants the truth until the truth is spoken. Suddenly, then, it's an issue because it's not the truth that they were expecting. Whether you like it or not, the truth is the truth. And this is a thing, people. And if you're one of those people that don't want to talk about this, that don't want to raise awareness within our community, you don't want to share this information in your Facebook groups or your other online communities because you're too afraid of the flack that will happen or the drama that will happen if you do, then you're just contributing to the problem. Did anything about what I just say offend you? Ask yourself why. Since my video came out, there's been a lot of people jumping to conclusions, so I'd like to touch quickly on two of these situations that have risen up before I get into answering any of the questions from my last video. Last week I was basically accused, in not so many words, because remember, we all have to speak underneath a veil when we're broaching this subject, don't you know, of stealing from one designer and giving to another designer. Now this was all in reference to the Havana crochet along that I have spoken about I don't know how many times this past week. What infuriates me, aside from the fact that it was insinuated that I was a thief to begin with, is that they insinuated that Tina herself, who is the designer of the pattern, was also a thief, simply because this designer saw a picture of Havana and immediately assumed that her interlocking crochet pattern or technique, that she didn't invent, by the way, was stolen from her, since myself and a few of the other testers were also in her Facebook group. Allow me to give you some background on Tina and the Havana pattern, because that's what I do here. I research, I educate the masses. Havana the book was published in 2015, and in that book, this same pattern that everybody is talking about right now, it's in it. You can buy that book right now and work the pattern if you want to. Tina is a world famous yarn bomber. Like, she has just bombed complete cities. Look, here she is right now with one of her yarn bombs, and oh, is that the Havana book from 2015 that she's holding? Why, yes, I think it is. Tina's been in movies about her crocheting and her crafting. Movies. Yarn, the movie, you ever heard about it? I see people talking about it in groups all the time. Yeah, she was in that. The New York Times has even written about Tina in 2016 and her crochet. Seriously, Google the woman's name. She is an Icelandic crocheting rock star. I cannot express that enough. And all of her work is not interlocking, it's mosaic for people who simply don't know the difference. Although this person that was accusing me should absolutely know the difference because she's been at the game for far too long. To insinuate that she is a thief when you obviously have not done your proper research and due diligence, it's just rude, and it's disrespectful, and it's irresponsible. So what I'm going to need to happen, Designer X, is I'm going to need you to climb down off that high horse, come back to the air that the normal people are breathing, but just be careful on the way down, because it's a long way down. Tuck and roll, baby. Tuck and roll. Another example of people jumping to conclusions is I've had several people since my last video come to me telling me about this designer who is severely upset, severely hurt because her new revolutionary crochet technique was stolen from her. Oh no, that's not good. What do? I immediately go into investigating. I immediately go into research mode because that's what I do. It took all of 10 minutes for a researcher in It's Crochet O'Clock to come up with a picture and a pattern from 2006 that if you put the two pictures side by side that this designer was claiming this was this new technique that she had just developed, if you put them side by side, it's the exact same thing. No two ways about it. I mean, completely identical. Took all of 10 minutes. Now, I contacted this designer because I wanted to make sure that I was getting the whole story. I had read all of the blog posts, I had watched all the videos, but I still wanted to make sure that I was getting the whole story. So I emailed the designer. I asked questions. I gave information. I offered to help if the situation was different from how I understood it. Yes, that's right. I offered to help. And I would do the same for any other designer that came to me who actually had their hard work stolen from them, because it's the only way that we can combat the issue. There's always going to be dodgy people in the world. We can't get rid of them. The only way to stop them is to expose them and to educate the public so they will stop supporting them. So yeah, I'm here to help. I'm just not going to walk on eggshells when I do it. When it comes to combating content theft, I don't care whose feathers get ruffled. But I'll do my research first. She never responded to me. She's still releasing videos. She's still releasing blog posts about it. But you remember when I said that people always want the truth until they hear the truth? There are only so many ways to tie a knot. One more time for the people in the back. There are only so many ways to tie a knot. The earliest crochet pattern that we know of was published in Amsterdam in a magazine called Penelope in 1824. That is 194 years ago. However, there have been discoveries in Peru that dates fabric from 2,000 years ago that previously was categorized as knit or woven. They kind of think that that was crochet now, but that hasn't been proven. So we're just going to go with 200 years of documented hard evidence that crochet has been a thing. Sit down and think about that for a minute. We have, without a doubt, verified that crochet has been a thing for 200 years. What are the chances that you've created something that is completely unique? I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm not saying that at all. William Elmore introduced a whole new method of crochet in 1991 with his extended stitches and chainless foundations. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just asking, what are the chances? Research. I cannot express that enough. Research, research, research. And then research some more. Heck, come visit us at It's Crochet O'Clock. There are tons of people that are waiting for any excuse to go digging through their trunks, stick their noses in books, or stare for hours at a computer screen, hunting down information just for the fun of it, because we're all nerds and we love it. When you don't research and you jump the gun, you're making assumptions. You're taking a very big risk of belly flopping into the dirt instead of tucking and rolling. Now for the questions. Main question number 1 is, Stephanie, can I make a licensed character or trademarked item for myself? Absolutely, yes. You can write a crochet pattern for a licensed character or for a trademarked logo, but you can't sell it. You can make 30 Winnie the Pooh blankets and give them away all day long, but you can't sell them. The same goes for purchasing patterns of this nature. If someone is selling a pattern for a licensed character or a registered trademarked logo, don't buy it unless they state that they have specifically obtained licensing to do this. On the crochet blog Shiny Happy World, you'll find a crochet pattern for Mike from Monsters, Inc. In that blog post, they explain the process that they went through, and then at the bottom, there's a disclaimer that reads, I need some glasses. This is a compensated post from Disney and Blueprint Social. I received a copy of Monsters University. All opinions are my own. I received permission to create a pattern using the likeness of Mike. It's a big deal to get this type of licensing. It's a big deal. In this instance, she actually won a contest that was being put on by Disney and Blueprint Social. So the designer won the contest and they gave her licensing rights to create this specific pattern. It's a big deal. And if somebody gets licensing rights, they are expensive, they are hard to come by, and they are proud of them. Lordy, they are proud of them. But wait, this situation has another lesson hidden within. The person behind Shiny Happy World is a woman called Wendy Gratz. Some of you might recognize this pattern if you've been around YouTube for quite some time, because in December of 2004, Mikey from the Crochet Crowd did a mystery along with this exact same pattern. In Mikey's video and in his blog posts, he references Stacy at Fresh Stitches as the person who wrote the pattern. And the images used are the exact same, but Mikey's blog post and the mystery along wasn't released until December of 2014, and the pattern, if you look at the website, was actually released in October of 2013. I'm not going to say some of you, but some folks would jump up and scream, "Thief! Thief! Thief! Wee-oo, 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 thief!" Wait. Settle down, Susan. Let's look at this a little bit deeper. So Shiny Happy World led me to Mikey, which led me to Stacy at Fresh Stitches, which in turn led me to Ravelry, which sent me right back to Shiny Happy World. I was confused. So what's a confused lady to do who needs answers? She emails. Hello, Wendy. I do hope this message finds you well. I am one of the many people who sit behind the camera most days on YouTube, and I'm currently researching and putting together information for a follow-up video I made 2 months ago on content theft in the crochet world. Through my research, I found your pattern for Mike the Monster from Monsters, Inc. and wanted to use your pattern as an example of someone having permission/licensing rights for the licensed character holder to produce the pattern. However, I've run into something that is confusing me a bit, so I am writing for clarification. Your pattern for Mike the Monster was released on your blog Shiny Happy World on October 28, 2013. I came across a video where Mikey from the Crochet Crowd filmed a tutorial for the pattern on December 9, 2014, but credited in the video and on his blog post Stacy Trock from Fresh Stitches. A quick visit to the Fresh Stitches website led me to archived patterns on Ravelry, where I saw Stacy Trock had uploaded the pattern to Ravelry in October of 2013. In the description of the pattern, Stacy gives the same disclaimer you do on the Shiny Happy World website and links to the original blog post. Could you clear up my confusion? I do not think that there was any infringement here, as it all does come back full circle, but I would like to ensure that I'm giving correct information when I speak to my subscribers. I would like to use this situation as not just an example of obtaining permission from licensed character/trademark logo holders, but also as an example of how important research is instead of jumping the gun and immediately assuming that wrongdoing has happened. Thank you for your time and in advance for your response. Sincerely, Stephanie. It's Crochet O'Clock. So Wendy responded back to me. Hi, Stephanie. I bought Fresh Stitches from Stacy Trock, and we merged the two websites in January of this year. All of the original publication dates for Stacy's posts were preserved, so the post that she published on Fresh Stitches on October 28, 2013 now looks like it was published on Shiny Happy World on that date, but it was actually moved there this year. I hope that clears things up. Do you see how easy that was? Don't assume anything. Ask questions. And for the love of everything holy, stop giving your money to people who are selling patterns of licensed characters or trademark logos. We can't stop them from doing what they're doing because, again, there's always going to be dodgy people. But what we can do is we can control where our money goes. And if we stop giving our money to these people, then they'll stop doing it. Eventually, that's the hope anyways. Next question. I read an article that said that copyrights have to be renewed and older pattern copyrights are expired. Does this mean that anybody can sell these patterns now? First and foremost, copyright is different in every single country. You're going to have to look into the laws for your own country, and then you would also have to look at the laws for the designer to know what is legal and what isn't legal. In the United States, our law states, all works published in the United States before 1923 are in the public domain. Works published after 1922 but before 1978 are protected for 95 years from the date of publication. If the work was created but not published before 1978, the copyright lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years. Now, there are a lot of people out there that say that crochet and knitting patterns aren't covered under U.S. copyright laws. And they'd be wrong. The U.S. Copyright Office added knitting and crochet patterns to their visual arts category. So now we can apply for copyright for our patterns in the U.S. Now, the U.S. Copyright Office does not go after people. They do not enforce copyright. That's not the business that they're in. They are registrars. They are the keepers of the records. That's all that they do. They take your money for the government, they file your paperwork, and in case anything happens, you have to go through the judicial system and fight it in court. Who will go to the record holders and pull down your information? There are a lot of people that jump on questions such as these. And they always respond with things like, there's no way to copyright a pattern. LOL! Even if there was a way to copyright a pattern, there's no way that you'd ever be able to enforce it otherwise. These people try to take my Jesus. I just want to reach through the screen and lay hands on people sometimes. Listen, Miss Condescending Mix-Ass Pants. It is hard to fight copyright infringement. It's even harder to do it across international borders. It's also super expensive. However, all of that being said, it is still no justification for stealing from one designer, dead, alive, I don't care. There is no justification that you would be able to offer for stealing from another designer. Period. What should matter in the situation is integrity, community, and respect for the art and the people who create it for us. So our next question, it's a twofer. I was wondering how people sell stuff on Etsy and whatnot without getting into trouble. I always see lots of shawls, blankets, licensed characters, and trademark items for sale. Also, if I make something from a pattern that I've purchased, can I sell it? So as the question is a twofer, we got two answers. The first part of this is on licensed characters and trademark logos. Only the person or the company that holds the information that holds the documents for the licensed characters or the trademarked logos or their representatives that they have appointed can request that content like this be removed from sites like Etsy or YouTube. Once a company sends a request in, these websites are bound by international laws to remove the content. Once all of the documentation has been provided, these sites have to do that, or they can face legal repercussions themselves. And then the people that have done this, that have uploaded the patterns or whatever it was that they stole, they could lose their memberships to the websites. They could lose their accounts with the websites. Here on YouTube, we only get 3 shots. That's it. 3 violations of YouTube law, copyright infringement, trademark infringement, all of that good stuff is incorporated in it. We only get 3 shots. And if we hit those 3 markers, we get 3 ticks against us, our channels are dead. Period. Oof. Now the second answer to this 2-part question is yes. In a lot of cases, you can sell the items that you make from patterns that you buy. However, pause for effect. There are some designers who specifically stipulate terms in their patterns. Some of those terms are like, you must ask permission from me before you sell this item. You must provide a link to the original pattern on my website before you can sell this item. There are even designers who say that you must provide a card with the completed project when you sell it that has all of my information on it. Now, people with questionable moral fiber are going to ask immediately, how are they going to know? That's true. That's true. It's very true. If you made a blanket and you sold it at your local craft fair, there's probably no way that designer is ever going to know that you did it without their permission. They're not going to know. But it don't make it right. These stipulations may seem extreme to a lot of people. They do to me as well. But it's not my design. It's not your design. It's their design. And it's their right to ask what they will of the people who purchase items from them. Doesn't mean that I have to agree with it. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it. Doesn't mean I have to support them with my money. In fact, when I see stipulations like this on a pattern, I just don't talk about it anywhere. I'll never mention it on my YouTube channel. I'll never talk about it on my blog. I will never talk about it in my Facebook group, Instagram, Twitter, any way that you could possibly converse with me. I'm just not going to talk about it. Designer X has every right to place those stipulations in their patterns. But I have every right to not promote them. I have every right to not give them my money, and you do too. I absolutely don't agree with it at all, but that does not excuse me ignoring their wishes. Integrity, community, respect. So pay attention to the stipulations on patterns before you purchase patterns. And if you believe like I do, that if you pay for a pattern, you pay for all of the yarn, you spend all of your time crocheting the item, that you should be able to do whatever in Sam Hill it is that you want to do with the item, then don't support them. For every single designer that is out there that puts stipulations like this in their patterns, there are 40 more that don't. It's a big, big ocean. Have hook, have yarn, will fish. P.S. If you happen to mess up and purchase a pattern for a licensed character or a trademarked logo, you can't sell the item that you make from it, because that makes you just as much in the wrong as the person who sold it. You're both breaking the law then. Don't worry about it. Everybody does on Etsy. You're not going to have anything happen to you. Y'all, let me tell you about a girlfriend of mine that decided that she was going to make Salt Life stickers and sell them on Etsy. Oh, you're making these now? These are pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm selling them on Etsy. You're what? Salt Life is trademarked. Aren't you worried that you're going to catch yourself a lawsuit? Girl, please. Salt Life don't care about none of the 5 stickers that I am selling on Etsy. Oh, okay then. Y'all, I knew it would happen. As the day is long, I knew it would happen. Knock, knock, knock. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you Miss I'm way too confident? Oh, great. Here you go. You've been served. I'm not lying to you. It did not come via email. It did not come via the postal service. It came as a person dressed that handed her her papers that said cease and desist. Don't think for 1 minute that you're too small for these companies to worry about. Apple has destroyed lives because somebody 3 oceans away made a logo of an orange with a bite out of it. Disney has steamrolled people. Pixar has wiped the floor with people. Don't think that because you've managed to fly under the radar this long, that you will always be able to do so. And don't think for 1 second that Etsy or eBay or any other site like that is going to protect you. Because when you sign up for these sites, whether you read that 50 million mile long content agreement that you have to agree to, it's in there. They also report to the government. You have to fill out all of your information for tax purposes. These people will find you. They will come to your house. They will serve you papers. Don't think that it can't happen to you, because as soon as you get comfortable, all of a sudden bad stuff is going to happen. And I promise you that that money that you're making off Etsy is not going to be enough to hold your family through the ride of a lawsuit. How do I know if a pattern that I find is legit? Well, first off, if you found it at one of those sites that totes itself as thousands of free patterns here, that's a spam site, and you need to leave it immediately because they don't write any type of patterns. They steal patterns from other designers, they post links to other designers, and their whole purpose in life is to drive traffic to their website to get money from the AdSense, which are the ads that are playing on it. That's it. They're thieves. That's all that they are. They are making money. They are making a living off of somebody else's hard work. So just leave those sites, leave those groups, unfollow those pages, unfollow those Facebook groups. And if you happen to be an owner of a Facebook group and you allow people to post links to these sites, patterns that they have found on these sites, you're just as much in the wrong. Did that offend you? Ask yourself why. Aside from subscribing directly to a designer's website, there really is no safe way to do it. There just isn't, unfortunately. And there are a lot of people who will say, well, you can just go to Ravelry, but let me tell you something. Even sites like Ravelry, probably one of the biggest resources of knitting and crochet patterns on the web right now, isn't completely safe. Every single time I log in there, I see patterns that are directing people to spam sites. I see patterns that are directing people to old Yahoo groups where they have photocopied, copywritten patterns from magazines from the 60s and the 70s, some even in the 20s and the 30s, but they're still copywritten, and Ravelry allows them to stay there. Hey Ravelry, you out there? You need to do better by your designers and your patrons. It's really time to start researching the items that you allow to be published on your platform. Because if you don't, then you're just another problem. You're part of the entire issue. People need to be able to depend on your site for safety. They need to know that whenever they come to your site, that they aren't viewing or downloading stolen content. They need to know that the content that they are getting is coming directly from the designer themselves. I don't know what kind of team it is that you guys have going over there, but maybe a revamp needs to be in order. Maybe you need more procedures and protocols for this situation. Maybe you need to sit down and seriously think about it and look at the problem and come up with a solution, because what we have going on right now, it's not working. That's not going to be a popular opinion, but hey, say it with me now. Everybody wants the truth until the truth is spoken! Aside from going directly to the designers' websites, there really is no safe way to ensure that the information that you are getting is coming directly from designers. But from designers' websites, you can find their Ravelry. Most times they will have a link to their specific Ravelry page where they have all of their catalog of patterns. You can find links to their Facebook groups where they post information there, perhaps their Facebook page, but it all starts at the designer's website. So start subscribing. I said this 2 months ago in my video. Just start subscribing because it's important, and if you don't do it, then the wrong people are getting supported for work that they didn't do. Now, if you're a designer and you know of a website that makes you go through a process in order to prove that you actually own this pattern before they will publish it on their website, please comment below. Let me know if you've run on any of those websites, because I would like to support them. Is it okay for people to use my photos in their advertising? No, it's not okay. For all of the people who say that crochet patterns can't be copywritten, I would love for them to try and argue that photos can't be copywritten, because we will have a come to Jesus right then and there. Photos are your material. You own them. So many of these spam sites get themselves into Facebook groups. They pay attention to the forums on Ravelry, and if you post a picture of your work, they will use it, and they will put it up on their website, and they will not give you any credit. They won't ask you any of that. The only way to combat this is to put a watermark on your photo. And if you're not technical savvy, which is okay, Emma from Pippin Poppycock had a fabulous idea, and she touts it all the time over there in the Pippin Crochet Club. Write your name and the date on a piece of paper and set it smack dab in the middle of the project, and then take your picture. Don't put it off to the side because it's easy to crop that out. Put it smack dab in the middle of the picture. Pictures are copywritten material. Period. And it's wrong to steal them. Lots and lots and lots of people do, but unfortunately the only thing that we can do is just watermark our work to heck and back. Is it okay for my local group to host a series of stitching gatherings to work on a pattern together? Yes, you can absolutely do that. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's a paid for pattern, then everybody that is in there should pay for the pattern themselves versus sharing it around, because that's not right. That designer designed that pattern. That designer should get paid for the time that they spent working on that pattern for you. But there's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong, however, if you happen to own a yarn shop and you decide that you are going to take somebody's crochet along that they designed that's thousands of miles away from you. You're going to create specific yarn packs for this crochet along. You're going to host events at your place of business where you charge money for people to come to the event, and then on top of that, they had to have purchased said color pack kits from you in order to participate. You are in the wrong. And yes, this happened. Remember when I said that nobody ever wants to talk about these things? I woke up one morning, this was probably about 6 months ago now, maybe 6 months ago. My phone had blown up. Thank goodness I had turned it to silent because my phone had blown up. Everybody, Stephanie, can you believe that this is happening? Stephanie, you'll never guess what happened. My whole day was shot researching this. Company did this. Not only did they do that, but they stole the photos from the original crochet along and were using those photos to promote their event and their yarn that they were selling. No, that is not okay. But nobody wanted to talk about it in public. Multiple people were coming to me because everybody knows that I'm not going to walk on eggshells. I will call you out if you are doing the wrong thing because I believe that it's the only way to stop it. Nope. I contacted one of the designers. She responded back to me. They were going a different route with getting it handled, and I think that that is still going on. But my point is that nobody wanted to talk about it publicly. Everybody was more than happy to talk about it. And at the start, I was going to film a video for them, the people who designed the crochet along. I was going to film the video about it because social media is very, very, very powerful. And before I even filmed it, I started contacting owners of multiple Facebook groups that had very, very large followings because I wanted this to have as much exposure as possible. Do you know how many agreed to post my video exposing these people? 2. And those were 2 of my friends. All of the other ones did not want to get into the drama. They didn't want to create drama in their groups, and they thought that this would just create a storm in a teacup for them, and they were very sorry that it happened, of course, but they didn't want to deal with it. Another thing that is a thing is reverse engineering of patterns. Was one night, I have insomnia. There was one night, it was crazy. It was either crazy late or crazy early. I don't know which one it was. But in one of the Facebook groups, this woman posted this blog post that she had written up where she had given down all of the instructions, and she was teaching people how to take photos of patterns, like a full blanket, think like Mandala Madness, taking Mandala Madness, a full picture of it, and then putting it into a Photoshop-like program, and then creating a graph over the top for all of the stitches. So you could steal patterns and not have to pay for them. She didn't like it when I called her out and told her about the truth either. She still claimed there's nothing illegal about that. How is that not stealing? That's not okay. But reverse engineering of patterns is a thing, and it's not okay. For all of the same reasons that I have said before, it's not okay because these designers work their butts off and they don't get paid nearly as much as they should. So all of these things are taking the very, very minute amount of revenue that these people have to feed themselves, to feed their families, to purchase more yarn so they can create more beautiful items for us. It all takes away from that, and it's all wrong. So, I didn't water myself down this time because I'm mad because I got accused. I got accused of being a thief. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, you're just a little bit too excited. There's going to be a lot of people that say, you're just a little bit too passionate about that. There's probably some folks that are going to say that, well, a lot worse things about me. Do you know what I have to say to those folks? You can get knotted. Thanks, Jane. I don't care. Because if you disagree with anything about this topic at all, I said it in my first video, I will say it again here, and I will continue to say it until the day that I die. If you have anything negative to say, if you do not agree with anything that I have said today about this topic, you are not my people. You are not my tribe. And I invite you to unsubscribe from my channel. Go find one of the other hundreds of YouTubers out there. I'm quite okay with that. Because my people don't do that. My people have integrity. My people believe in community. And my people believe in respect. It's just the way that it goes. Give me all the thumbs down you want. Don't forget to give me thumbs up though, because we like those. Or thumbs down, don't care. Little tip, YouTube doesn't see any difference between thumbs up and thumbs down. It's all interaction to YouTube. They don't even record which one was which. So thanks for interacting with my videos if you give me a thumb down, because you actually help me. Okay, I'm going to go now. See you in my next video.